All right. So I'm going to do a little reading from my new book out September 12th from Bell Publishing, Love and Industry. See, I've also got my t-shirt and my flannel. My flannel has sparkles. I'm very happy about that. So anyway, this is the title essay. It originally appeared in Terrain, and it's called Love and Industry, a Midwestern Workbook. 1. Fall in love with a blue-faced sign for Interstate 35W in Minneapolis. Ache and hold back tears because Minnesota winters are so cold, and the sign has no choice but to shudder and brave the wind like a ragged prayer flag. This is the way you fall in love with viaducts, chipped concrete with steel veins of rebar, the way you fall in love with a telephone pole covered with rusted industrial-strength staples, the posters for rock shows all melted away by weather and time. Whenever you're falling out of love, walk the alleys and find strange bits of metal from old machines and put them in your pockets, on tables and mantels. 2. Believe in pivot points and fulcrums. Believe in the blank hole in the middle of a wrench, the small spaces you swing around in order to change trajectories. Believe in a wad of chewed gum on a nice old wooden desk. The gum still has some of its pink, and that gives you hope. Believe in the solace of a streetscape when you are worried, slightly lost, happy, sad, caffeinated, tired, tinged with the sweetest of grays, tucked into a corner of a map. 3. Look left as you drive across the concrete skin of an overpass girded with mud and weeds in Columbus, Ohio. Catch in a snapshot flash the glint of dulled metal and the ocean ripple of a blue plastic tarp, a 1970s model van, and a lean-to propped up with sticks and a mop handle. Fear lives like Thoreau in his little cabin with the sound of rushing water, where the silty mud welcomed the first brave fishes ashore. Tell your children the fairy tale of the billy goat's gruff, growling to imitate the voice of the troll who waits under the bridge, wooden planks to snatch the littlest ones. Envy the places where bridges are just bridges. Remember that if you are thrown out of the last rented room, the river's muddy and beaten arms will catch you. 4. Feel the quiet of a burned-out steel mill on your skin. You shoot through Hammond, Indiana for the bristling bouquet of Chicago's dark glass and metal. Turn your head to the corrugated leviathans that would never sneer at you. The long, slow mills have no choice but to accept the rust, the loss of fire and molten metal. The brown-black buildings with the rows of windows up high like the portholes on a ship, let you love them in all their brokenness, with warehouses and parking lots that fade to gravel and crabgrass. A concrete loading dock doesn't ask anything of you, doesn't demand that you agree with its crazy stories or its lies. And that is love, after all. It will wrap you in the baked cookie smell of rain on warm asphalt and the earth's industrial rows of monocrop corn stretching on either side of the highway. It will give you billboard-sized abstract paintings in layers of faded paint and chipped brick and colors that haven't been named yet. You can read a philosophy on those surfaces, can vaguely make out the palimpsest of hope in the foreign language of a splash of yellow that somehow survived on those lovely pockmarked metal walls. 5. Look for industry in its purest form, pushing up its tender shoots after a forest fire in places like Linden, a bombed-out neighborhood in Columbus razed by the war on drugs and racist zoning. The rows of boxy old houses once welcomed men home from World War II to a humming economic engine kick-started with ammunition. And now bullets rain like fireworks along streets with names like Bremen and Dresden, an echo of German destruction. Count the side businesses. Cardboard signs on front lawns advertise Avon and childcare. A sign on a telephone pole reads, looking for chemo patients, wigs, call 891-7633, and another, clothes for concrete geese. Sex workers lean into the windows of idling cars, negotiating, selling. Wave every day to the neighbors who eat popsicles and sing along to classic rock in the sunshine as they wield their wire strippers, mining the scrap copper from spools of salvaged wire to sell to the metal yard. They might do crack occasionally, one man tells you, but they aren't crackheads. They call the cops to shut down a rival crack house on the next block. Notice the 2x4 propping up the front porch roof of a house that leans slightly to the left. Learn to see it not as a static trash, but as a project in slow metamorphosis, a question, an option. Additions and rooms blur in awkward styles and shapes from the fronts and backs of houses like the new growth of leaves in a slightly brighter shade of green. Listen. Be aware of your judgment and push against it. As you stand next to the professional recycler who rides a modified bike he has made into a cart with a trailer and 2 garbage cans, complete with a full-sized boombox powered by a car battery. He has a grabber with a handle so he doesn't even have to get off the bike. Watch with fear and awe and unnamed emotion in your gut as Crystal stops in front of you. She pushes 2 babies in 2 buggies, a lawnmower twisted with wire to the handles, pulling the mower as the buggies move in a rattling parade. Her husband doesn't want her to work. She asks if you need your grass cut. One baby keeps whipping his bottle into the street. She draws, too, shows you a unicorn she designed and had tattooed on her calf. 6. See and then do not see what road you have chosen. The problem with your philosophy of industrial wreckage is that if you commit to loving and living in a warehouse or a ruined place, you launch a Superfund scale chain link reclamation with dumpsters and barrels. The danger is similar to loving the punk rock boys, the weathered ones cradling their aching heads with their beat-up Converse and their wily hair, their twitching nicotine-stained fingers grabbing guitars, the boys smashing beer cans and singing songs that burn brighter when backlit with the supernova trail of impending collapse. What else is there to love?